Hi, this is JP Moses. I'm back here with the clever investor and our faculty, Cody Sperber. Cody has already covered the first two of his four best deal getters for the current market. If you're not familiar with Cody, read his bio and understand why he is so ridiculously qualified to be having this conversation with me right now. He is one of a few people who I know is so active in so many different areas that he can't help but have his finger on the pulse of what is working best right now. And so we've already covered in part one of this what's working best for me getting deals lesson. We've already covered a couple of things. So go back and listen to part one if you've missed that. Part two, we have the second two deal getters that are working best for you. So Cody, let me turn it over to you. What's number three?
Number three is probably everybody's favorite and least favorite at the same time, and that's using Bandit signs. I go to supercheapsigns.com, and I've been buying my Bandit signs, and I'll throw you over, JP, some examples of the signs I've been using. But I think the thing with Bandit signs is you got to stay consistent, and you can't saturate an area too much, meaning I don't put signs on every single corner all the time, and I normally only put my Bandit signs in low-income areas. And so I have a guy right now that I hired off of Craigslist for $350. He will print, build, and place 100 Bandit signs for me.
Wow.
It's good, huh? Because normally it's about $200 for the signs, and about, he's basically charging me about $155 or whatever to place the signs. So not a bad gig for somebody who is out of work and needs some extra cash.
Too shabby.
Yeah, and it's a real great deal for me because back in the day I was spending like $500 paying somebody else to put out all the signs, including printing and all that stuff. This guy does it for $350, and so all I did was place an ad on Craigslist saying, "Want to earn some extra cash? Call me. I need you to put out signs."
I love it. So let me ask you, one of the first questions people are going to ask about signs is, "Oh no, they're illegal in my area. How can I deal with that? I just got to throw this one out." What's your response to that?
Yeah. One, I look at it like this. Like I just did a deal the other day where a guy called me off of my sign, and he actually owned a property he inherited for a long time, but he owned it for like 3 or 4 years as a rental, and then his tenant moved out. And when he came down, he lived out of state when he moved here. When he came here to check out the property was destroyed, and I just so happened to have my sign on the corner that was on the entrance to his neighborhood to where this property was. And I probably put that sign out like 3 months ago. It just happened to stay up for whatever reason. And he called me and I did the deal, and I wholesaled it out and made $15,000. So I say to myself, man, if I would have cared enough about putting my sign out and potentially paying, for a code a violation or whatever they call it, I wouldn't have made that 15 grand. Right?
Yeah, right.
So it's, like, to me, I justify it like it's the cost of doing business. Yeah, can you go out and put your signs up on Friday and take them down on a Sunday and all the stuff that everybody else will tell you to do? Sure. I don't do any of that. I place 1,000 signs every single month out. Once a week, my guy comes and picks up my signs. He sends me a PayPal. I pay him. He prints the signs, puts them out. And now I even got him wearing a GPS device that I can log on to a website and see his breadcrumbs. Pretty sweet, huh? So he's turning this thing into like a business for himself. So,
oh, I see you took a turn at the chicken shack there, Bob. What's going on?
So, it's like I look at it like, it's just a cost of doing business. I roll with it. And to be honest, when I said I target low income neighborhoods, that's because I don't get code violations. I don't get issues. I don't get any of that stuff. In fact, my Google Voice number, the only thing that calls it is motivated seller, so I'm good with it.
Okay. Well, let me add my 2 cents in on the Bandit sign thing as well. I agree. And frankly, I took a personality profile. I took the DISC test recently, and I don't know if you've ever taken one of those, but it was very enlightening to have this, scientific computer type analysis of my personality. One of the things that I really got a kick out of that absolutely rings true is that it said, you believe in following rules when the rules make sense to you or you made the rules. And I thought, you know what, that's pretty darn accurate. Sometimes, if I'm the guy that if I'm sitting at a red light at 1 o'clock in the morning and there's no traffic anywhere, that red light now serves no use and is null and void because it is stupid and I'm going to go, you know? Now, some people hearing that who are absolute rule followers go, oh my gosh, you know, what are you breaking the law? You have no integrity. Well, you can judge me if you like, but that I don't feel like it's an out of integrity decision. I feel like rules are set up to provide structure to society and to hold people accountable and punish them for actual crimes. And a lot of times some of the rules get in the way of actual awesome progress and things that help our community. And one of the things that I really believe in my core is that real estate investors buying houses invests in community, which invests in the local market, which invests in the economy, which improves everything for everybody. So my Bandit sign marketing fits well within that worldview. So that said, I do know a couple of people who have been severely hit by the Bandit sign police who wanted to make an example out of them. But that's the exception to the rule. I know one guy who, a local judge, decided that he was going to make an example out of him, and he started charging him $1,000 per sign per day.
Wow.
And so that's the extreme. I don't hardly ever hear of those examples, but that's the other side of it. That's always a possibility. The lion's share, like 99% of every investor who's ever done it, the worst case scenario is they get a phone call or they get annoyed or they get their signs cut in half. So if you're going to integrate this into your marketing, you just need to decide what kind of personality am I and what do I feel is within integrity for me, and what are the risks? You have to measure the risks and maybe do a little experimenting. They're not going to do that, whatever the worst case scenario is, they're certainly not going to do that the first time. You can talk to other investors in the area and find out. It is a deal getter, and it absolutely works in the arena that we're in. It works really, really well. So take that and run with it.
Let me give two thoughts on that.
Yes.
And I always knew you were kind of a rebel, JP. Two thoughts on the Bandit signs. When you see the graphic of the signs I use, they look like they're handmade. So they're like handwriting type font, just black signs, handwriting type font, unless I'm in an area where it snows, and then I wouldn't use a white sign with black font. Obviously, I'd use a yellow sign with black font. And I also don't print out the big Mac Daddy giant Bandit signs. I normally do the smaller ones. They're cheaper, and they stay up longer. So those are just two thoughts on the Bandit sign angle in, using a Google Voice number, trying to hide your phone number and all that stuff. I think that's just fine. But at the end of the day, they're going to call you and pretend that they're, a buyer and meet up with you and then yell at you, I guess would be what they would do to get a hold of you if they really wanted to get a hold of you. Out here in Arizona, they just put a big sticker right across your phone number. That's like a violation sticker. So most of the times they don't even call you. They just jack your sign up, and that's that.
By the way, quick funny story about Bandit signs before we move on. And by the way, if you want to see a sample of Cody's Bandit sign, Mogul Elite members, you can see it in the Power Pack tools for this lesson. There was two investors who were going at it a few years ago here in the Memphis area, and one guy would put his Bandit signs up, and then the other guy would tear them down and put his Bandit sign up in its place, which is pretty ruthless and jerky. So guy number one, after pulling his hair out a number of times over this and deciding, well, we can just go at this, for months and nobody's going to win, he decided instead to take a different approach, and he had some bumper stickers made with the other guy's phone number. And he started applying those bumper stickers on every other Bandit sign in town, like lose weight now, ask me how. And he would put that guy's phone number on that Bandit sign.
That's awesome.
So that guy started getting calls from everybody else's business. Of course, it's not too, I'm sure the other business owners weren't too happy about it, but I thought it was a great way to get a little Bandit revenge.
Yeah, that's clever. I accidentally one time, well, not accidentally, I printed out red house shaped signs, right? So it was like die cut in the shape of like a little red house, and it had white lettering on it. And I thought it'd be a great idea to, zip tie these to a bunch of poles all around my target area. Well, one of the poles I zip tied it to was a stop sign, and I did it to the bottom of the stop sign. But a a cop actually called me and said, if you don't come here right now and take this off all of these stop signs that you put these red signs on, he goes, I literally stopped at the pole before the stop sign thinking that that was the stop sign. And then I scooted my car up, to the real stop sign. And then there's your sign again. So I was like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to have stop sign looking bandit signs. So
from a marketing perspective, it works, but not from a legal perspective. All right. So that's it. What's number 4? Number 4 of the best deal getters for Cody Sperber right now.
Right now, I've been testing out something, and I've been waiting kind of on the fences for this direct-to-seller marketing to really swing back in motion before I went and put either flyers or door hangers back out in mass. But now I'm doing a Post-it note strategy that I used to do way, way back in the day, where I print out these Post-it notes, and I'll send you over an example or a picture of the Post-it note. And the same guy that puts out my Bandit signs puts out my Post-it notes for 11 cents a note, and he basically just we're blanketing neighborhoods. And so I know certain target zip codes, certain target subdivisions that I'm interested in, and we're just blanketing the whole entire subdivision with like 15,000 Post-it notes at a time. These are like little, 4x6 sticky yellow Post-it notes with black font on them. And he just literally, pops in his iPod and goes door to door and just slaps it right on the front door. And I've been tracking that marketing over the last few months, and it's producing really well for us. And I've been testing 2 Post-it notes. One Post-it note is just it's like a notice type Post-it note, like, hey, sell me your property, I'll pay cash. The other one is at the top of the Post-it note. It's the same I buy cash for houses message, with the line across it, and then underneath it, it says, if you're interested in making up to $4,000 a month, call me, and I'll show you how to hunt down houses and get paid. So it's like a bird dog message.
Nice.
And what's happening is, more times than not, I'm getting hundreds of calls of people saying, hey, I'm interested in learning more about your bird dog, this program where I can earn up to $4,000 a month. And so then I'm pitching them on, hey, look, go to this website and watch some free training. I'll teach them how to do their own Bandit signs, how to do their own direct mail, how to do their own Post-it notes, and go out there and hunt down deals. You don't need to know anything about real estate. Just bring the deal to me, and I'll go ahead and structure the deal, and I'll pay you $500 to $1,000 depending on what information you turn over to me. So if it's just if they're just turning over to me just like an address and that's it, and they're just saying, hey, I think this person's motivated, I'll pay him $500 if I, hunt down the seller and, structure the deal and close the deal and whatnot. But if they actually show up with a true motivated seller, with their phone number, with their direct point of contact, with a relationship with them, something, then I'll pay them $1,000.
I love it. This is related, I'm realizing, to another lesson we did recently with Steve Cook that he called breeding bird dogs. And that's exactly what you're doing, a little different take on it, but you're using these Post-it notes to breed bird dogs that don't even really realize that that's what they're doing.
That's it. Boom. And I think that's really what it is right now is an opportunity to create an army of bird dogs, because let's say if I empower 100 of them, there's probably going to be 5 of them that produce.
Absolutely. Okay, so just to make sure, on those Post-it notes, you don't have any specific demographic target or filtering besides the opportunity market that you're in. You're like, hey, this is a neighborhood that I want to target, and so you just blanket up and down every house on every street.
Every house, yeah. And I'm doing low income stuff, like houses that are probably $50,000 and below.
And what are you paying to get that
not
done?
War zones.
I know you're not walking around doing it. What are you paying to do it?
11 cents a Post-it note, basically.
And what's the cost of the Post-it notes?
Costs about $350 to produce the Post-it notes. When I send you over the Post-it note, JP, I'll send you over the place that I'm getting it printed at, and they already have my template on file. You guys can just call them up and say, hey, I'd like to get a batch of Post-it notes, and just put your contact information on there, and you'll be good to go.
Wonderful. Man, thank you so much. Really, really good, solid, practical, tangible. Can I think of any other adjectives? Real world type stuff. That is exactly why I love having these conversations with you. I know I can expect no less. What action items can we give people who want to follow in your steps and take action on these specific things? Go.
Yeah, I think go to supercheapsigns.com and take a look at the Bandit sign examples we give, and go ahead and decide what Bandit sign works for you, and order your first batch of Bandit signs. And on top of that, put out an ad on Craigslist, unless you want to do it yourself, and see if you can't hire somebody to put out the signs for you. And use my model. It should be somewhere right around $350 to $400 to get the signs printed and put out.
And get some Post-it notes. Target a zip code. Use Cody's template that he's kind enough to share with the Mogul Elite members here, and rock it out. Thank you, Cody.
No problem.